Shalom all, I hope you're doing well. This won't be very long, but I want this to be a wake-up call, mostly for fellow Messianics and those who are in the Torah camp, in the Torah community. We have to show the same grace that God showed us when it comes to those who are coming to Torah. And coming to Torah shouldn't even be the end goal. It should be coming to Messiah. The Torah should lead you to Messiah. And if the Torah is not leading you to become more like Messiah, then it's useless. Anybody can keep Torah or profess to keep Torah, but it's dwelling in you. It's not just about the letter of Torah, but the spirit as well. The spirit and letter go hand in hand. And I think that's why a lot of believers in mainstream Christianity, that's why a lot of them are turned off by those in the Torah camp. Since we're made in God's image and He, in His grace and kindness, wrote His Torah on our hearts based on His new covenant, I don't know what gives us the right to act as if we are the gatekeepers of Torah. Again, God wrote the Torah on our hearts, not us. It is not on our own merit. And don't get me wrong, I love God's instructions. I love them because they protect me. I love them because they're a guide for loving Him and loving each other and living set apart in this godless society. But the way one uses it matters, just like a law upon the earth is used. Just like a regulation among those like in the police force are used, people in the police can misuse those kind of laws and abuse them. In that same way, people can abuse the Torah in that way and abuse it for their advantage. That's not the purpose of Torah. And it can become an idol too. David loved the Torah. But again, it's how you use it. People are not going to become enlightened by the instructions if we beat them over the head with them. And if we do that, how are we reflecting God's image? Well, newsflash, we're not reflecting His image if we do that. So again, show the same grace that God has shown you. None of us have it all figured out, and nobody is Torah observant. Torah pursuant, maybe, but yes, not Torah observant. And then again, it's not even about labels. We can label ourselves with anything, but our lifestyle will speak louder than labels. And people will be known by our lifestyle, not our labels. Our faith is shown by our lifestyle, not our labels. Again, the only label I claim is Messianic or follower of Yeshua, because that's what it all boils down to. Many follow Torah but without following Yeshua, and that's not the way. It has to be both. Like it says in Revelation 14:12 and 12:17, and many other places, 22:14. We need both. We can come to Christians all day long for being anti-Torah, but we're no different when we have an attitude of pride and self-righteousness, as if we're the ones who wrote the Torah. It is His. And again, though, for loving God and loving each other. It's not up for us to it's not up for us to try to dissect or try to add to or take away from it. But keep in mind that every commandment is not applicable today. I don't get the point in trying to unlearn everything in mainstream Christianity when you can't unlearn the pride and arrogance that comes with Torah without Messiah and without faith. You can unlearn every doctrine, every false doctrine in Christianity. That's fine, but you need to unlearn pride as well. Unlearn that. Again, I'm not coming for y'all, but this has to be spoken in love. And this is to myself too, because I could be guilty. And I'm telling you from experience, the root of Torah is love. It's always love. The way God defines it, not the way the world defines it. The Torah is defined by biblical love. Not pride, not self-righteousness, not the ego. It's love. And love is an action, Hebraically. But that action must be accompanied by faith. As we all know, faith without works is dead. And works without faith are useless. Keep these two together and be discerning about who you learn from Torah, but always rely on the Holy Spirit. He will guide you into all truth. The Torah isn't bad. It never was bad. And the things Paul fought against in his ministry was not the Torah. It was the interpretation of Torah, which ended up turning into legalism because circumcision was being required in order to be saved. Again, the Torah itself is not bad. The Torah itself is not a curse. The curse comes with disobeying the Torah. And what was bad is the interpretation of Torah, which was rooted in legalism. Choose the narrow path, not legalism or lawlessness. It's grace and truth in one. Stay close to Messiah in these days ahead. And for those who have not been told, for those who haven't been taught about the Torah, I would recommend reading for yourself and surrounding yourself with a sound counsel, especially on the first 5 books. Because they're still all relevant for today.